On my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Rated and we are back at it again for another episode of Crypto Portfolio Updates. Now, see, some of these times I wait until the last minute to record these videos, so I'm actually recording this on Tuesday, December 10th. You will be seeing this in the morning, so good morning, those of you, because these premiere at 7 a.m. I want to catch you first thing in the morning, get your mind right before you start incessantly looking at the markets. Most of you are probably like me, and that's the first thing you do when you open your eyes is look at the market, see what we're doing. Kind of sets the tone for the day. Not in the sense that most people think, but it is an important thing, and I like to drop these early in the morning so that way we can get the comments going, the conversation started, the information. If you want to tap in with me, drop me a message over on Instagram. I'll be talking over there. Or yeah, wherever you want. But before we get into that, make sure you guys hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button if you've been here more than twice. If you hate watch, you should still subscribe so that you can hate faster and more efficiently. If you are a true supporter, though, you should be subscribed. Like if you drop through here more than twice, I've got a bunch of different content. It's all bag talk all the time. That is the focus of this channel. It's me documenting my journey to $1 million in net worth, being mostly liquid. I'm not having it tied up in my home. I'm not trying to buy the biggest house that I can so that I can tie my net worth to my house. It's not all tucked away in a 401k because I'm not funding that first because I'm not going to need it. So we're doing some different stuff at the foundation, at the core, what I would consider my area of expertise, my contribution to the financial landscape is crypto. I've been in this market for over 11 years. And I love it. I continue to love it. The game is fun. We have sprawled it out over into the traditional finance space so I can start kicking in faces and taking names over on that side of the line because the opportunities over there are so abundant as well now because of the crypto space. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. We're gonna get to the business here. Let me pull this screen up, get rid of me. Let's talk about it. What do we got going on in the crypto space today? We're looking at Bitcoin dominance at 53.5%. Sucking all the air out of the room, obviously. Bitcoin is dominating. Altcoins had a really good pump. Ethereum dominance is at 12.1%. We haven't seen the true altcoin run yet, but we have been seeing some projects do some numbers. XRP gets the credit for kicking it off as far as the news cycle is concerned. They had a nice, decent pump. Then the rest of the market started to pump. Everything is pumping. You got to respect the pump when it's time for the pump to happen. Do I think that was the crypto bull run, crypto season? Absolutely not. We're agitating, bubbling, if you would. And it's sprinkling through the ethosphere. Currently, gas fees are at 13.365 Gwei, which a little bit pricey. But that means stuff's going on the Ethereum blockchain, and I like to see it. People are getting more excited. You can see the money flowing through the market at the time of this recording. We got Bitcoin sitting at $96,408.29. We touched 100. We were past 100, got all the way up to 103. I posted about it. I saw it. I was sitting at a dinner with a nice lady, and I stopped what I was doing to check the crypto market, and it was at 103,000. So then I had to stop the conversation I was having and post about it because I got to beat my chest, and crypto is number one in this household. So it was a good evening, good night, good company. But definitely had to go get the air off my chest, the weight off of my chest of us breaking 100,000. You know, it's good to be right. It feels good. And, you know, especially when people in the TradFi space that don't understand this space because they haven't put in their 10,000 plus hours, into the space because they have their lane. And then you start talking about stuff that's not your lane, and then you end up being wrong. And so, you gotta do your little post. You gotta tag some people in it, especially when they try to like step bro you. But I was fine with it. Jumping in to the top trending coins. Shout out to CoinGecko, our reference point for a lot of our content. Vita Inu, Coma Inu, and Magic Eden. Now, Magic Eden I'm familiar with. They're finally starting to get some stuff that I'm familiar with on here. Now we're going to move on to my next favorite page. And it looks like we're going to have some good stuff to look at over here. A little bit of agitation, a little bit of pop in numbers. What do we got? What are we looking at? We are looking at the top 5 gainers and losers. Now, I hope everybody is on the gainers at some point during this bull run. Everybody deserves to get a little bit of that tasty victory, because it is tasty. Like when your coins are on the top 5 list, you just feel good. You feel like you did something right. You feel vindicated. Kind of like when Bitcoin hit 100K. I felt vindicated. It was a very good feeling. It was exciting. I rejoiced. It was a mental barrier. I mean, even for those of us who understand that Bitcoin's probably going to $1 million, that is my thesis. That is the way that I'm investing in everything. Everything. Because I believe Bitcoin's going to $1 million. But on the road to $1 million, there's some big round numbers that you just got to see, to experience, to believe. I had to log into my ledger to just look and see and believe. Because it feels good. It does. It feels good to look at them big round numbers. And 100,000 is a mental barrier for a lot of people. And now we've been playing peekaboo with it, just jumping up and down, getting some good bounces in. I was trying to feel out what the swing trade's going to be so I can place my my longs for my leverage trading. And because I've been building up a little wrap Bitcoin bag, doing a little leverage trading, just doing a little side gambling, because I'm indefinitely long. And with that said, like I am long, like I'm super all day long. I'm just trying to catch these dips, and I'm putting in different plays. I've got some that are just running that are a little bit high, but my running one, I'm like, I'm just going to let that run. Like if it's still there when I log in, it's still there when I log in. But I got some windows that I'm looking at now. And, we dipped all the way down to 94K for a little bit, then jumped up to 96, and we're sitting around 96 now. So that's what we're kind of doing. But we got to get these top 5 gainers, because the stuff is going on in the market, and I'm here for it. I love it. I like to see it. So let's get to it, people. At number 1, at rank 467, we've got Coma Inu with a gain of 170.3%. It's active. The market is going. Coma Inu is actively pumping. It's jumped 3% since I started this page. And that's what I love about the crypto market. Stuff is actively happening. At number 2, at rank 951, we have Impossible Finance Launchpad with a gain of 36%. At number 3, we have at rank 603, Wrecked with a gain of 35.4%. Ooh. At rank 874, which actually is tied for number 2 now, Degen Sparta AI with a gain of 36% in the last 24 hours. And at number 4, we have, I guess that was number 4. And then at number 5, we have Alchemist AI with a gain of 31.1% in the last 24 hours. Now we're moving over to the losers. Hope you guys aren't on the losers list, but this looks like a list of healthy retracements potentially, opportunities to jump in potentially. Hopefully, you're not left holding a bag. But at number 1, we have at rank 126, Magic Eden with a loss of 54.4%. At number 2, we have at rank 231, Bitcoin Gold with a loss of 27.8%. At number 3, we have at rank 956, Firmachain with a loss of 21.9%. Tied for number 3. At number 4, we have at rank 437, Virum coin with a loss of 21.9% as well. And last but not least, at number 5, we have at rank 485, Hive with a loss of 21.3%. Not too bad. Not too bad. Now, before we jump over into the portfolio to give you guys the crypto portfolio updates, we do the vegetables before the dessert over here. Let me take a look at the profile. I got to give you guys some numbers. So on the day, we are down 2.8%. We are up 11.6% total so far. Top gainer, as always, Solana. Let's bring it on over. What are we going to talk about this portfolio? We're still not beating the S&P 500. Still not beating Bitcoin. And as I've already said, our Bitcoin standard, we are not trying to beat the S&P 500. It's just a talking point because everybody's still familiar with TradFi. That is where most of us came from. Most of us are familiar with what most of us were indoctrinated into. As a metric for measuring my investments, though, it is no longer a measurement for measuring my investments. The S&P 500 for me is a savings account. That's the minimum savings rate that I want, is whatever the S&P 500 is doing. I want to beat that as a savings. From an investment standpoint, 30% is the marker. And the reason 30% is the marker is because that is what Bitcoin's risk-free annual rate of return is. Which means that if I'm out here playing these markets, if I'm not beating Bitcoin, I should have just bought Bitcoin. I should have just put that into the Bitcoin standard and kept it moving. That's what we do when we don't know what to do with the money. Like, I don't even like keeping the money in the savings account. Like, if I'm going to put it in the savings account, I'll put it in an ETF that's pegged to the S&P 500. Because that's going to likely outperform your savings rate. That's going to, at minimum, keep up with inflation. So that at least gives you a baseline where the exact same amount of wealth that you started saving is the same amount of wealth that when you're ready to pull it out at a later date, it's going to be around there. But when we're trying to do investments, it needs to be 30%. So we are in deep muddy waters with this portfolio, but that's how it always is bull run season, which is why most of the time outside of the bull run, you'll only see me buying Bitcoin and Ethereum or preparing for the next bull run in a sparing fashion, a little bit at a time. So let's jump into it. Let's get to these top 10 coins that we are holding in the active portfolio. At number 1, we have Solana, SOL. At number 2, we have Injective, INJ. At number 3, we have Ethereum, ETH. At number 4, we have Superverse, SUPER. At number 5, we have Radium, RAY. At number 6, we have Aave, AAVE. At number 7, we have Jupiter Perpetual Liquidity Provider Token. Man, that's a mouthful every time, JLP. At number 8, we have Camelot Token, GRAIL, at rank 1235. And at number 9, we have Immutable X, IMX. At number 10, we have Akash Network, AKT. Lot of red these past couple of days. Now we can get into the conversation that we're going to have, or that I'm going to have with you, that I hope you enjoy, that I hope you like, that I hope you gain some gems from. Now, the first thing that it says here is buy the effing dip. The reason I say that is because we went euphoric. Everybody went crazy when we hit 100K. The thing that was interesting about us hitting 100K was that was not retail FOMOing in. Those of you who are in retail, those of you who are like me, those of you who just buy, you're not a hedge fund, you're not doing any of the crazy stuff. You don't have a whole lot of money in the market. You're buying a little bit of coins at a time, couple of $100, few $100, maybe $1,000, maybe a couple $1,000. You are a small fry. You are retail. Now, as retail, it was not us that drove the price to $100,000. It's not been us that's been driving the price up at all. Like when they look at the buys are so large, such a high quantity, that they can tell that it's not individual investors that are buying into the market right now. So you guys are still sitting on the sidelines watching this. You're watching your opportunity. You're watching your great entry points. You're watching these prices that will make you look like a genius in 4 years, will probably make you look like a genius come next year. Pass you by. to let hedge funds and large investors buy your positions that were originally meant for you. So you're going to have to buy in at a higher rate, which in the Bitcoin community, we tell people, you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve it. Now, me, I'm constantly buying, so at all prices, I feel like I deserve Bitcoin. But not everybody, like these retracements, like now that you've seen it hit 100, you know it can go to 100. It's down to 94. That's a buy. 96, that's a buy. Under 100 is a buy. For the altcoins took a beating today. I didn't see anybody talking about altcoins. It's crazy because today would have been a great day to buy if it's your day to buy into the market. Now, mine is normally Friday, but we had our payday at the very beginning of the month. We had to buy during a run up. It's just what it is. We got to do it. Moving forward, like hopefully we'll get to a point to where once we start getting these weekly income checks out of our dividend portfolio, once that portfolio is solidified, we will be looking at getting ourselves positioned to where every week we'll have a large influx of money that we should be able to move around as we see fit. And then moving forward, when we see these types of dips and the market's going haywire and it looks like a terrible day, we'll be able to buy. And then if it's bad next week, we'll be able to buy next week. We're looking at having that lion's share of money, but you gotta do, unfortunately, at a certain point, you gotta do a certain amount of work. And honestly, I'm not worried about this bull run because we've scrambled and we have been scrambling to get in position. Most of our positions are overall in green, looking good. And yeah, we're capitalizing on, we capitalized on the bear market when nobody was interested in talking about crypto, period. I was interested in talking about crypto, buying crypto, showing you guys how we're building portfolios, doing all the things. But here we are. Now that we're starting to get into these runs, these retracements are opportunities for the people that have been sitting on the sideline wondering, when am I going to get in? Now is generally when you should be doing that as we're going through the market, because this is going to happen multiple times. There's no straight lines up. It's not going to go up indefinitely. It'll feel like it's going to go up indefinitely, and there's going to be a little shakeout because people get scared. They're not used to seeing themselves this much in the positive, this much in the green, and it shakes them out. And like the market goes, okay, cool, you gave up your position. And then those of us who've been here for a long time, we'll take your Bitcoin. And then we won't give it back because we're not selling off Bitcoin. But as we're sitting here looking at this, it's like buy the dip. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is how I capitalize on the Bitcoin bull run every cycle. Now, the first cycle, I did this kind of ignorantly, and it was very ignorantly. Like the first bull run cycle, I spent the whole time calling Coinbase as I was buying crypto and kind of learning about it, trying to get into my mining profits, which went into a Coinbase account, and then I didn't log into it, and then they changed the requirements, and so the entire bull run they kept. And this is just so you know, if you get kicked out of Coinbase and when we start going into the parabolic bull run, you won't get to your coins. So for those of you who have coins in Coinbase that don't log in like at least once a month just to look at it, log into your account now to make sure they haven't updated the KYC or you don't need something else. Like that's a huge piece of alpha that I learned the hard way. It's also why I stopped keeping my coins on exchanges. But if they update the KYC, then you have to go through their verification process. And if you have a substantial amount of money in there, they're going to keep it tied up over the run. Just so you know, it took me a year to get Coinbase everything that they needed and asked for and doing the runaround to get to my coins. And I got to it after the blow off top as it was crashing. And it was 12 months of belabored calls to get in there. And it could have happened anywhere because they updated the KYC. And I was the type of person who only logged into that account once a year, if that. And I hadn't logged into it for over a year. And like I had the password, could get into it, but they were like, yo, we need a new ID. We need all this stuff. And every time I hit them up, like they needed something else. Oh, that's changed. And then with work, because a lot of us are working class people, now you're busy. So you don't have time to just sit on the phone and go back and forth with them. So like then What should have been maybe a day, maybe 2 days of calling and getting into the weeds with them about it became a week. Then it became a few weeks. Then it became a few months. Then I'm calling like once a month, like trying to get into the account. Then I'm logging in as I see the numbers go up. I'm like, oh, I need to log in. I need to get that Bitcoin. Can't get in. Oh, we need this now. Oh, you submitted that, but like we need this. We need it in this format. It's like working with the government. Once you have to update KYC on your Coinbase account. It's very annoying. But one of the things that first initial bull run taught me was the importance of self-custodying. It taught me the importance of the coins, especially going through the crash, because that back in those days, we did take like a 75-80% haircut on Bitcoin and started the process all over. And now you think about 75%, 80% haircut on Bitcoin, the entire altcoin market's dead. Dead. And that's where the majority of my stuff was, in the altcoin market. Now, that summed up my first experience. But like I walked out of that, I found out that I had a good sum of money. I had a few $1,000s. It was the most amount of money that I've ever had to that point, like collectively at one time. And I'd been working on getting my finances together, but I never had over $5,000 at once, like all together to like look at. And so I kept in the crypto market, invested it, like reinvested the funds, like got into the altcoins, started getting ready for the next bull run. Now, my second bull run, how did I capitalize? That was a life-changing bull run. So it was 2013. So we did 2016. So every 4 years. So 16 was the first one. And like I walked out of that with a little bit of money, but I didn't. That was life-changing in the sense that it got me used to seeing large numbers. That was the life-changing. Like they say, coming by your first 10,000 is the hardest. It was. After that, I was used to large numbers. So like after the 10, the bag kept running up from there. 2020, that bull run specifically, because this is my third bull run, so we get to talk about 3 of them. That's how long I've been here. So it's going on 12 years. That bull run specifically was a large pivot point. That's when I realized that like exponentially, I'll be able to definitively move the needle. I'll be able to make plays that will affect my future generations behind me, the future of my family, my security, the security of a spouse should I end up with one, my family should I have one. That was when I realized what these bull run cycles really were about. So 2020, crypto went crazy. Now I was heavily involved in alts, but I was in a community. Like I had found a back channel the first bull run that honestly we all got taken to the cleaners together. But there were a few of us that were, and this will be the thing that you'll learn in any Discord. There's always going to be like a small handful. There'll be a bunch of people in the Discord, but there's a small handful of people that are actually doing the work in the Discord that make it worth even looking at the messages. And we all just decided to make our own back channel. So now you've got a back channel of people that are super active in the crypto space that are, it's just that. Like we're just on there, just having alpha, talking life, a lot of crypto alpha, bullying people into positions pretty much. And, you know, one of the things that I got from that is like my first 50x crypto position, I got bullied into the position. Like I actually wasn't even bullied. It was shamed. I got shamed into buying that position. And like the dude was just like, hey man, like you need to get in on this. You need to get in on this for 3 months straight. And then like I finally just started throwing some money into it. And he was like, good. He was like, did you get some? He was like, you need to get more. He was like, get 1,000 of them. And I was like, okay, like cool. Like it was a token that we bought in at under $1. Or we bought in well under $1. It was like around a quarter. It was like the average buy-in, and it went up to 20-something bucks that same year. And we were just like, what? Like the whole year, like that funded all the other investments. We had some of the other investments pop off too. It's a good year. But that wasn't the life-changing part. The life-changing part was like I cleared up all of my consumer debt that I had at the time, which was around $30,000. And then I got my down payment for my house. So like that moved us into a position to where now I have housing security. And like going in 2020, that was the beginning. Like we're just getting into COVID. So I knew the rent was going up. Like I got myself into a housing position, got a little house hack going. Great. Everything's good. Fast forward from that position, we're going, okay, like that was a big deal because like most people, like, I mean, I'd never been debt free before that since I was 21. And being able to experience that, going back and learning how debt works. So like obviously we're doing Operation Debt now, but the debt that came was a surprise life event debt. The debt that I had back then was like, I'm an idiot. I'm going out. I'm spending all my money to look cool for people that don't care about me, that didn't care about my well-being or my financial well-being. We just out here in these streets. It wasn't like, oops, this all of a sudden I'm just in this bad position. It's like I built a bad position with bad life choices, bad financial decisions, and an inability to plan ahead. And then next thing you know, you look up and you're $30,000 in credit card debt. So fun fact, we're almost $20,000. We were almost $20,000 or $30,000 in credit card debt. We were at 28 when we started Operation Debt. But the majority of that was medical and then having to replace a head gasket. And those two things happened back to back. So like I ran into about, because I would say because I was allowing myself to float 5 because I was just going to pay it off. And we'd already started working on paying it off when I had to have surgery. And then immediately after I'm in the process of recovering from the surgery, like I'm just getting back to being able to walk and drive, and my head gasket on my car goes. So that's an additional $5,000 on top of 12. So like I'd say 17,000 of it was that. And then we started having to pay for physical therapy out of pocket, which is $120 a session or $110 a session. And yeah, so like you're doing about $440 a month added on top of that. It just starts adding up. So like now that and the funny thing is we've actually started really chunking at that debt because of the dividend portfolio. And now that we're chunking at the debt, even with the additional burden of the physical therapy appointments, which I have 2 more. I'm about to be unburdened from what has been. Actually, I think I have 1 more session. I think my next session might be my last, or it might be the second to last session. I got my doctor's appointment tomorrow, and then I've got 1 more session, maybe 2 more sessions, but I'm not going to have to pay. I'm going to go into next year, and that was my goal, was to be out of physical therapy by the beginning of the year. But I get to go into the beginning of the year not getting drained for $440 plus my payment plan for the medical expenses. Cause like we still have stuff rolling in, we still had stuff. Like this is the last thing that I've got, but like we still had a lot of these little nickel and dime. Well, actually it's not nickel and dime. It was an additional 2,800 or no, it was additional. It started out as like $3,000, but we're down to 2,200 on that. Like it's separate from credit card debt. It's not the consumer debt. And realistically, of the consumer debt that we have, 12,000 of it is what we're actively like trying to get rid of because it's active debt. But we're getting ready to look at making some moves on that as we're moving around. But we're getting ready to free up a lot more money that can go towards investing or crypto. And like a lot of my investing strategy in regards to my Bitcoin Standard and my cryptocurrency in general is probably going to be focused around getting that income portfolio where we need it to be, because over the bull run, those outsized payments will fund everything. And during a time when I'm going to be working my way back, like after the debt's gone, I'll have no problem living off my W-2 paycheck. But I'm still going to be focused on getting as much as I can into those income portfolios. So like once the debt's gone, everything, my check will probably I'm probably just going to move my check over to getting direct deposited into my brokerage, and I will buy all of all of the income that I can possibly get my hands on as quickly as possible, and then I'll pay for everything out of the dividend check. Like that's kind of the goal of like where I'm trying to get at. And once this debt is paid off, we'll be able to move over to that, because once I've got a whole check going in there, and once we get those weeklies done, and I'm thinking we'll come out of April ready to be swinging at some stuff, because I've got a couple of plays that I can still make, and I'm pretty excited about it. We're going to do some research on it, and then we're going to move with some intention. But since we're shutting down the outflow from the dividend portfolio, we're going to be perfecting those portfolios. So hopefully over those 3 months, because we'll be going January, February, March, and then April when we do taxes, we should be ready to start spilling back out. That's 3 months of just straight reinvestment, and hopefully prices stay. Hopefully Yield Max does what they need to do. Hopefully the crypto market does what it needs to do, because as Bitcoin runs up, that income portfolio is heavily impacted from that. More income, more growth, all the things. Hopefully we can get ourselves in position to where that portfolio is darn near perfected, so that way we can just knock the debt out as quickly as possible. And then once that's done, convert the checks over to that. We'll be able to buy any crypto positions we want, and basically any crypto positions and all the investments that we want, because I should be able to fund both of those with the amount of income it's going to be producing, and then just deposit my entire check into that account and just keep building it out, and funding the investments, all the stuff, as quickly as possible. That's going to be the goal. But yeah, so this bull cycle, the shift that we're making now is we're getting ready for quote unquote retirement. Like that's the 2024 bull run. That's the next pivot for me, is being able to get into a position where my income is secured no matter what. If I want to leave a job, cool. You get laid off, cool. Job market goes kaput, cool. They tell us we got to stay inside, cool. We're gonna be able to still self-fund, continue to invest, keep doing what we're trying to do. But the goal is 2025, we're eclipsing our income with the dividend portfolio. Our crypto portfolio, we should be seeing some outlandish growth within that. And obviously, at the end of the 2025, when we trim that portfolio down and convert it over to a staked Ethereum positions, it's going to be wild. Like we're looking at doing that with the Bitcoin as well. Like we're going to take the Bitcoin from this year after we get done with all of our buys, because we've had some pretty hefty buys. We've got a few more, at least one more. Yeah, at least one more. And then when we cross over into the new year, we're going to take that Bitcoin and convert it over to the staked Ethereum, because that's the retirement position, savings position that we're trying to build up, because we hit our Bitcoin goal already, but we still got to buy 32 Ethereum, and we got an arduous road uphill to do. So, we're looking at these positions. We're looking at the stuff that we're trying to do, and it's very exciting. We're very much on track, but looking at every year, the way that I look at these bull runs is these are times that you can take a leap forward. You can take a big step. You can definitively move the needle, where they're like, oh, so-and-so's in a different spot than he was 4 years ago. Like this is where like people are like, yo, this dude's like noticeably getting better every year. But it's like on that fourth year, that crypto year, next level, securing the bag, like building up, and so like it's not necessarily something within crypto, because I know a lot of people just like want to show you their crypto account, but it's like, secure your bag, secure your housing. Don't go buy a car. Like, this ain't necessarily flex time, even though we are getting ready to buy a car. But we're not buying it with crypto. Like, our goal this year, this bull run, the pivot is we're going to have that income portfolio that'll pay for everything. When you get the car's going to be paid off in a few months. It's just, we're going to be focusing on that. But that's the reason we're going to pay off the debt first, or get that put in a manageable position to where it's far enough out to where we can manage it with no interest. Like, that could also be an option. But if you guys found value in this, definitely make sure, if you haven't yet but you made it this far in the video, definitely make sure to hit that like button. I want to know what you guys are having. Do you guys drink coffee on the way to work? Let me know down in the comments who drinks coffee on the way to work. I used to drink coffee every morning. I do a coffee substitute. I do the mushroom coffee. I really like it. I also love a good cup of Joe. I'll interchange it. But what are you guys having? Because, like, me personally, when this is airing, good morning to y'all. I'll be having my cup of Joe on the way to work or at work. It depends on where I'm at. But are you guys doing coffee, energy drinks? It's wintertime, so like coffee is definitely a winner during the wintertime. I drink coffee during the summer, but it's hot. It's like double hot. It's not always the greatest. But what are you guys drinking? It's your boy Reckless Raiden Arrow, and until next week, peace.
Money on my mind. Yeah, focus, got no time for games. Nah, I don't play it, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.